Welcome. You're listening to the Leading Hope Podcast. My name is VJ Williams, here with my friend and pastor, Kevin Jack. Thank you for joining us, taking time out of your day to become a better leader. If you're new, we release a new episode every Wednesday. Easiest way to remember every week, hit that subscribe button on your favorite podcast platform. Also, share this with a friend on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. And please rate and review on Apple Podcast. Take a few extra minutes today. It'll help us get this podcast in the hands of so many more leaders just like you, trying to get better like us. And visit leadinghope.online. Get updates, find out more about the Leading Hope community. Today we continue our series on 3D leadership. I loved last we's. I'm so excited about this week's episode 186. Today we're leading up.
Leading up,
all the way up.
So the idea for this series is that there are three directions in leadership. There's leading down, leading up, and leading to the side. There is leading with authority, that is leading down. Leading under authority, that is leading up. And leading with no authority, that is leading side to side. The tendency for most people is they have mastered one of these, but if you master one, you'll still probably lose your job.
Yeah.
Because there's too much going on. Unless if you're the only boss and it's just leading down, but you won't thrive. If you master two, your potential will be limited. But I believe that if you can master all three, the reality is not only will you excel more than you previously had, but it has an impact on all the relationships. While there are unique skills for each direction, those skills will help you lead in the other area as well. So today, we're going to jump into leading up. So this is leading, and when we describe the directions, I think the easiest way to understand it is like, it's for the org chart.
Yeah.
In most structures of an org chart, I didn't want, like last week as we were talking about leading down.
Yeah.
Leading down to the people who are below you.
Yeah.
No, it's just like they report to you.
Right, someone reports.
They literally, as the lines are drawn, are under your authority.
That's exactly how it works.
Leading up, leading under authority. And so this is, you have a boss, you have a manager, you have someone you report to. And so last week, we kind of focused on this like big core idea that you've got to be clear on where we're headed, but you need to be adaptable on how we get there and how to lead each person.
Yeah.
Today, this is maybe a little different. I just kind of want to put some deposits into this idea of leading up. Okay, so we're just going to kind of walk through some key ideas. But I'm going to give this first as a structure that you win when the team has met their goals because you have met the expectations set for you. And I know people want to throw in like, you've exceeded, you've surpassed all expectations set for you. But, I mean, that's great.
Yeah.
You need to at least meet the expectations.
Yeah.
Set. Cool. So a couple of ideas on leading up and what it looks like. First off, you make all of this easier by being someone who is easy to lead. If you are easy to lead, you make all of leading up, all of leadership easier. And sometimes this gets categorized. I don't know how to say like the proper distinction between what is historically been categorized as a brown noser.
Yep.
Someone who just sucks up to the boss.
Yep.
Versus someone who is actually easy to lead.
Yep.
But if I can maybe give some distinctions, some of this comes from Clay Scroggins' book, How to Lead When You're Not in Charge, which is a fantastic book on the subject, but it's really focused more on the personal aspect, but I did want to touch it here. So he gives 4 key categories that you should lead yourself, you should choose positivity, you should think critically, and you should reject passivity. And so it's really a matter of that you have competence, you have character, you have ownership, and that you are proactive. Those are the 4 key aspects: competence, character, ownership, and that you are proactive. And that if you have those things, you are someone who is easy to lead.
Yeah.
There is a difference between, how do we say it as, being proactive on other responsibilities you can take and washing your boss's car.
Yeah.
There's a difference between being encouraging to the person who is leading you and picking up their dry cleaning when that nowhere fits in your responsibility at any point in time.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
I hope we grasp the difference there. And I hope you're not criticizing others who are easy to lead, if I can say it like that.
Yeah, I hope not either.
Because they're like, oh, they're just a brown. Like, well, they're not a brown noser. They're just easy to lead, and you're just a difficult person.
Yeah.
Like, they don't have to be a suck up.
Yeah.
In order for you to realize that you're a jerk.
Yeah.
There we go.
That's good.
So, a couple of the key ideas after this personal aspect of you make all of this easier by being someone who is easy to lead. First idea is this: if your boss doesn't win, you don't win. So we talked last week.
Say that one more time. I think that's powerful.
If your boss doesn't win, you don't win.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we talked last week about the reason why people are given authority. The reason why someone has authority is not because they've been there forever. The reason why they have authority is because it's designed for the contribution of the group to exceed the contribution of each individual. This simple idea: we can do more together. We're better together as a team than just as individual contributors. And I'll just say it like this: I keep running into this constant frustration where someone is under a boss, under a manager, under a leader who they don't feel like they really believe they know how to lead or they're doing a good job leading. And so they've got this thought in their head of like, I'll just crush it while my boss fails.
Yeah.
And then everyone will see how great I am and how awesome I am and how fantastic I am and all the results I've done. And they'll kick my boss out because they're really incompetent and really dumb.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to say, like, the nicest way I want to put this is, how stupid are you?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't really have much more than that.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I want to say this about it now that you just brought it up. the brown noser and the jerk.
Yeah.
In both situations, they're both trying to get something for themselves. The brown noser is just trying to maybe get promoted or get to a position that they're currently not. The jerk is just also selfishly just trying to do it their way and not the right way. Either one of those people don't actually help the boss win.
Exactly. Oh, that's a good
right.
point.
So if you find yourself, there's always a selfish, inclement piece that's in there, and for anyone, like the other thing is if your boss fails because you didn't help whatever,
Yes.
you didn't hurt the boss. You hurt the organization, and maybe jobs are lost because of it. And now you've ruined livelihoods and people's
yeah.
homes. They don't have homes now. Like, they can't pay their mortgage. Said literally, right? Like,
Yeah.
you because of that, you didn't succeed. Those things happen.
It's the fact that most people can't grasp the fact that their success and their boss's success are connected.
Yeah.
Like, they're tied together.
Yeah.
You are under their authority.
Yeah.
You are part of their responsibility. And so if I could just maybe dismiss in your head this crazy notion that, like, your organization is a sinking ship and you are the one bright shining star that's going to emerge from the sinking ship. Like, no, you're going down with the ship.
Yeah.
And so you need to figure out how to lead under authority, because part of the win that we said at the beginning is you win when the team has met their goals.
Yeah.
Okay? Your success and your boss's success are tied together.
Let me say one more thing. Sorry. I think this one's so important. Like, I guess I take this one really personally. Because of how we got here, why we're here, and all those stuff. And for me, it's like, and it's not that you need me to be successful, but for me, if you aren't successful in whatever we're doing, part of what I am a complete failure.
Yeah.
For me, like, I have failed my call, everything. So, like, that is, like, if you take it from that perspective, like, get over your personal differences and stuff, or whatever those things are, because the vision and the organization and where you're going so much bigger than your conflict.
Let's stay on this idea for a second, because first week I was here at Highland Park. You were here as well. We're not going to get into all the things of the first week.
Yep.
But, like, you're there, and you're not often there in the congregation now because of all the other work that you're doing.
Right.
And, like, you're loud.
Yeah.
During the sermon. You're loud during all of it. I say that affectionately.
No,
I want you to know that.
I am. It's all
like,
accurate.
During the sermon, you're loud.
Yeah.
And I had someone say to me afterwards of the light, they go, They go, I didn't realize you were bringing a cheerleader down with you. I don't know if I've ever told you this, so this might be new information now.
I think you might have said something.
Is that I didn't know you were bringing a cheerleader down with you.
Yeah.
And I almost wanted to just say, like, but you don't see everything else that happens in all the other rooms.
Yeah.
You don't see all the times where you call me out, where you press me on stuff.
Yeah.
But in public,
Yeah.
you're encouraging, you're never demeaning.
Right.
But like in a lot of other spots, and I'm not saying you're demeaning in any way.
No, but
it's high conflict.
High conflict on purpose.
And you don't do that for self-promotion.
No.
And you don't do that for my success. You do that for the organization's success.
Right.
But you understand that the organization is not going to succeed. Let's say it like this. There's never been like a nation in history where the nation started crushing it right after an insurrection. Like they didn't depose the emperor or king or president or whoever it was, and then we went, wow, they're in a great spot.
Exactly.
And so I would just say, like, if you actually want the organization to do well and you believe in its vision, why would you try to do that?
Yeah, it this is making any sense. And I get there's always these issues with maybe who you report to, your personalities are conflicting, or maybe you just don't have the same belief structure, whatever it is. But you can't lay your personal feeling towards a person over what you're trying to accomplish together.
Yep.
And that's what happens when that goes awry.
Yeah. So if you can't help your boss win, you need to go find a new boss.
Report to someone else.
Yeah. And I don't mean that as get rid of your boss. I mean, like, you need to go find someone else to
report to someone else. And that's okay. Like, that make reporting to another boss normal.
Yep. That's good.
Like, that is.
Let's normalize. Go find a new boss.
Right. Like, that's okay. And it can be in the same organization or maybe it's somewhere else. It's so really good. Yeah.
We didn't intend for that section to get that long, but I thought that was really helpful.
I think it's empowering.
Okay, so if your boss doesn't win, you don't win. Dismiss that idea. Other pieces here. One, take one. Sorry. Actually, 3.
7.
Take responsibility for communication. Okay, when you are leading up, okay, you're leading under authority. This actually functions best if the person who is following in that dynamic takes responsibility for communication. And so I just want to share like how I learned this, because it may sound like I'm saying this to everyone else. I want to say, like, I have had a not a tense relationship, but a personally frustrating relationship with the boards that I have reported to.
Yeah.
And I just felt like at times they were getting involved in stuff they had no business being involved in, and they weren't aware of stuff that they absolutely should be aware of. And so I just looked at that dynamic, and I was just kind of always frustrated. And I know that's a little different than reporting to a boss. Mm-hmm. Reporting to a board is different than reporting to a boss. But I just was like in a spot where I was just like, I was constantly frustrated. And so about halfway through our time at Be Hope, I started doing this simple thing. As I said, I'm going to take responsibility for all communication and information. I'm not going to wait for them. And it was just like a really simple mechanism. I started sending them an email every single week.
Yep.
I said, here's everything you need to know, and here's where we're headed. Here's what we're focused on. And it radically changed that dynamic.
Yep.
And so if there was anything that was an issue, they knew. If there was anything that was a priority, they knew. I'll be honest. I don't know if they always read the email. My guess is most of them did not always read the email. But what it did is at least put me in a spot where you are in position where you have been fully informed, and it's no longer on me.
They don't have to guess anymore.
Exactly. And so like that radically changed the dynamic. So here's some like simple solutions when you're leading up. Be proactive on communicating information.
Yeah.
Like, and if I could just like literally spell it out for you, what you're doing when you're in the office, when you're out of the office, issues that pop up. If there is an issue in your department, team, whatever, do not let your boss find out from anyone other than you. And part of this is just wisdom. This isn't even like urgency timing thing. Like part of this is just the fact that like if they find out from someone other than you, even if you trust that person, they will have a different narrative than you do. And there's a lot of importance in the first narrative that's out that people can focus on. So be proactive on finding out information. Okay? Be proactive of like, hey, even if you don't know what's going on, Don't just sit in the pit of, oh, I don't know. No one ever told me. Be proactive on finding out that information.
It's good.
Next piece, be intentional, not needy on time.
That's good.
Okay. When you have time with your direct report, utilize it well. Have an agenda. Don't leave it to them to always have an agenda. You will need time. You should need time. But I also want to say, don't waste that time. Okay. If it's their input, if it's their ideas, if it's information that you need, like, utilize that time well. I have great trust. There's some people on our team. They say, hey, I need 30 minutes. I know they are going to use every last bit of it for something important.
Yeah.
But when they're done, they'll walk out.
Yeah.
Then we'll go, well, I got 7 more minutes. Let me talk to you about this. They're just going to. So don't be intentional, but don't be needy. Don't just don't assume FaceTime with your boss is the most significant time that you have, so to overdo that. And then last piece I want to focus here is work with a greater focus on the overall outcome than just your own. Yes, you're part of a team. Yes, you have specific expectations, but I think what we fall into, and we fall into this, and I'll take the blame for this on our teams, is we'll say, here's where we're focused.
Yep.
And then people will set their individual goals in light of the team goals, which that's just a really important dynamic to have in place.
Very.
Individual goals come after team goals.
Yep.
But then I think we have a tendency at times to lose sight of the team goal because we're looking at our individual goal every single week. Because the reality is not all planning is perfect.
Yeah.
And so I would just say is you need to always work with a greater focus on the overall outcome than just simply the expectations you're asked to meet.
I think that's great. I hate to do it. I need to go back to the boss doesn't win.
Oh, let's go.
You don't win. I think these other ones are super important. I mean, take responsible for communication is just high on the list. Like if you can't do that, you're probably not going to be successful.
Yep.
Intentional with your time is focused on something greater than just your own stuff. All needs to be like top priorities. But when you talk about this concept of the boss win, I talked a little bit about your success is part of my success, the connection. The other part of that is I have never heard of, and maybe it happens out there, that if you're, and it does happen, I guess, but like if you're doing the right thing at the right time, I've never heard of the boss success hurting you. Yeah. Like maybe it happens. I mean, I'm sure there's scenarios out there where, maybe, but here that goes back to here's what I guess I want to say is figure out if your boss is full of crap. If your boss is full, just really not competent, find a new boss. Yeah. If they are, and you just don't like maybe some of their tactics, but if they know what they're doing, then find a way because you will be rewarded by other people's success. You will.
Whatever you do, don't work towards your boss's destruction.
Right. Yeah, but I mean there's rewards for the success of an organization.
Yes.
For you by helping everyone else succeed.
That's good.
Like you will see that happen. Like especially within a church structure, at least here, with a vision that makes sense for people, and you've said it several times, the vision helps compel and repel. And that's the same thing with the boss. Yeah. If the boss is working within the vision, you will either compel or repel based on how we're actually moving forward. So that's good. I would just say that that's so important, man, to make sure that you're helping everyone succeed, especially the person that you're reporting to. How do you want to finish this? I know you got questions because last week you said, man, I'm going to commit to every week questions I did not say that. For the rest of the podcast history.
Maybe most of the time. Maybe most
you did
of
say
the
that.
time.
You did say that. I was just trying again.
Wrap up this idea. The person who leads well knows their job is to help their boss succeed by taking responsibility for communication, being intentional, not needy on time, and making all of this easier by being someone who is easy to lead. 2 questions for application. First, ask your boss, what would you like for me to keep you up to date on, involved in, and aware of? Determine what they want information on. Let them set that. The beauty of asking this question is if there's something outside that area that you don't update them on, you're not in trouble.
Yeah, you didn't
You
ask.
get to live within the clarity. Yeah, like you said you didn't want to know.
Right.
It's really
It's clear.
shocking idea.
Clear as kind.
Second piece, ask your boss, what can I do or be aware of to help outside my area of focus? That's the quickest way to get promoted, if I could tell you that
Yep.
as well. But it also ensures the actual team success, which is tied to your success.
That's so good, man. Thank you so much for joining us today, 186 leading up. If you're new to the podcast or haven't yet subscribed, it'd mean the world to us if you did that now. Also post about it. Rate and review or both. We would love to see that every week. It helps get this podcast in the hands of so many more leaders just like you. We love hearing your stories. And if you have been answering these questions or these questions are helping you move forward, let us know. Visit leadinghope.online or just DM us on Instagram or Facebook and send it to us. We'd love to hear from you. And remember, everyone has 20 minutes to learn to become a better leader. Make it count. Woo!